new at this, so sue me!
It's already 2026, and we're still waiting for Static Shock to make a jump from animation to live action. I really don't know whether the wait will stretch for another 5 years or more, but recently, a Variety piece has given us some hope. I'll get more into the details, but before that, I should tell you that if you know this character only from his famous cameo in Batman Beyond, where Terry McGinnis didn't even know who Beyoncé was, you should level up your comic knowledge a bit. Static Shock was born in a totally different comic universe until he found his place in DC. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you everything we know about that. Also, I'm going to share all the latest updates of the upcoming Static Shock movie, so hang tight till the end, and let's get started. So where does the movie stand in 2026? In April 2026, a Variety piece announcing the live-action series of The Phantom also revealed brief information about where the Static Shock movie stands now. Filmmaker and producer Reginald Hudlin, who directed and produced the Phantom series, has also mentioned that their Static Shock movie is in the development stage. However, a development stage means many things. As of now, no official information about the creative team, cast, or the production team have been announced, so it's safe to assume that Static Shock hasn't actually entered the production phase yet. Back in 2020, at a DC fandom, Hudlin first brought up a Static Shock adaptation, and ever since, we've been rooting for it. Early in the 2000s, Static Shock was one of the most recognized young teen heroes, just like Spider-Man, but the most common mistake people make about this character is that he's a DC superhero. Well, it's not exactly like that. Although Static Shock ended up under the DC banner, it was Milestone Media who first launched the character. In 1993, some of the most creative black writers and producers came together to form Milestone Media, and Static Shock was one of their most popular comic book characters until 2000, when he was adapted into an even more popular animated series that ran for 52 episodes until 2004. DC definitely did a good job bringing a young teen of color as tough competition to Marvel's Spider-Man, but Static Shock deserved more than just an animated series or a few crossovers with other DC heroes. After the 2020 announcement of the live-action film, Hudlin was silent for a long time, and I think the only reason was the ownership issue with this project.
Of course, new powers wouldn't hurt.
The ownership problem nobody's talking about. After the announcement at DC Fandom, when the silence prevailed for a little too long, naturally the curiosity became overwhelming. So recently, at the red carpet premiere of Peacemaker Season 2, James Gunn was asked about several other pending DC projects, which included Static Shock as well. When a fan asked Gunn about any development news on Static Shock, he spoke about how hard it is to incorporate a character from a different comic universe into DC, because he's been facing this same issue with his dream project, The Authority, which is also not originally a DC comic continuity. In his words, it's all about integrating him with the DC universe because he's not a character that's traditionally part of the DC universe. So it's kind of like The Authority. So like The Authority's been a little bit of a challenge simply because integrating them with the DCU has been a difficult thing to do, and the same thing is true of Static Shock. Hopefully we'll figure out a way to do that. Gunn's DCU is making its own mark in the cinematic world, mostly because of their true-to-comic essence in the films that we tremendously missed in the extended universe. So it wouldn't have been a bad idea if Gunn were to adapt the Static Shock live-action as well, but I think as it came especially from Reginald Hudlin, who is also associated with Milestone Media, there's a possibility that this movie might not fall under the DC banner at all. Or maybe it will be a Milestone Media production with some tie-ups with DC and Warner Brothers. As we have no official news on that, we can't yet confirm who'd actually own the project. How this movie actually got started. After the initial announcement in October 2020, we heard that Michael B. Jordan joined the production of Static Shock. His Outlier Society will be producing the film, although we didn't get any further confirmation on that. Michael is a huge comic book fan, and it's not the first time he's worked on a comic adaptation. Previously, we've seen him in the 2015 Fantastic Four as Johnny Storm, and then in Black Panther. He also produced Raising Dion, a Netflix superhero series based on the comic book of of the same name. So naturally, he was pretty excited to join the team of Static Shock to bring forth the story of an African-American teenage boy with some really cool powers. He specifically mentioned, "I'm proud to be a part of building a new universe centered around black superheroes. Our community deserves that." So you can already imagine this might not be just one standalone movie about this character, but potentially a whole universe, just like Spider-Man has. However, as I said before, there is no further information on the writers, directors, or even the actors. Even though Michael is involved, I don't think he's gonna play a teenage hero in this. I mean, of course he'll be there as one of the supporting cast, but as of now, we can't confirm that either. For the direction, I think Hudlin can be a good fit, because he's been well known as a writer and director, but I think most probably he's going to take the role of a producer for this film. How are the fans feeling about this? Fans have been pretty optimistic about Static Shock live action since the first time Hudlin announced it. Nothing's confirmed yet, but the fans had already made their creative imaginations come alive. You can see that optimism through fan-made posters and even concept trailers, with one of them featuring a young Will Smith playing the titular hero. That might not be a spot-on casting choice, but at least people are hyped about it, and this kind of hype can actually speed up the development of this project. The more fans will be yearning for it, the more convenient it will be for the producers to work on it. Years of silence and bad press can literally shelve a project, and we've seen numerous examples of that. I think it's not just a certain community, but every truest comic fan would want to see a superhero movie with a black lead, or maybe an entire universe of black superheroes. And I think Milestone can take the initiative to make that dream come true. Who is Static Shock, and why does this movie matter? Now, if you're wondering why fans have been waiting for years to see a live-action adaptation of Static Shock, here's a crash course. So, Static Shock first came out in 1993, as I said before, from Milestone Media, whose motto was to create a universe of all black superheroes. And yes, they successfully did it. Created by Dwayne McDuffie, Dennis Cowan, Michael Davis, and Derek T. Dingle, Static Shock drew the attention of DC because the archetype of the character was basically Spider-Man, but there was also a tremendous sense of freshness there. Our teen hero, Virgil Hawkins, is an African-American high schooler who was exposed to a radioactive chemical, giving him electromagnetic powers and turning him into a superhero. Now, Static Shock became popular because it was more than just a superhero beating up bad guys. It was talking about racism, gun violence, and all sorts of things that a modern-day cartoon or a comic series doesn't often talk about. More importantly, it represented the black culture, which you found very rarely in the early white male-dominated comic lines. Later, however, when DC took over the distribution of the Static Shock animated series, it put him in multiple crossover cameos. The most famous ones were Batman Beyond, as well as the new Batman Adventures and Justice League. The 4-year running animated series made the character so popular among comic fans that DC had to bring him back again and again in the comic continuities as well. Now, after all these years, when someone like Hudlin finally thought of making a live action, I think we should really hope for the best. Hudlin's ambitious vision with Milestone Media also suggests that the studio will soon be launching more such animated films and live action films for theatrical release. Hudlin said, "We're also looking at new media, like podcasts, and doing a series of stories that will be available on podcasts. We will deliver Milestone Media wherever you are, on whatever platform you want." So yeah, guys, it's very reassuring to see Milestone's reemergence, which I think will fast forward the production of Static Shock if it remains under the original banner. Because, in Hudlin's words, we really want to live up to the name of the company, Milestone Media. Well, that's it, guys. Once DC and Milestone sort out the question of ownership, I think only then can we get some kind of solid official details on its production team, or maybe even a release date as well. Until then, don't hold your imagination back, and let us know in the comments who you think should be cast as our teen electromagnetic hero. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and have a marvelous day.